The chapters of Avangar audiobooks. Prologue, The Wild One and the Divine Child. Part 1. Torva Lexington. My Aunt Kai told me they were too scared to spank her when she was born. The nurse politely asked her to breathe, and she did so. My birth was not quite so graceful. I was announcing my arrival to the world the moment I saw the light of day. I did that intentionally so the nurse wouldn't spank me. I was in a good mood, so I decided to save her from an ass-kicking. To show her gratitude, she cleaned me up, diapered me, wrapped me in a blanket, then drop-kicked me to mother. At least she probably wanted to. I was still announcing my arrival to the world when she handed me to mother. Father had to bring his face down close to mother's face to hear over my screaming.
Why do you look confused? Did they switch her out with another baby while I wasn't looking?
I assume there is nothing to worry about, but her magic changed. That is why she started crying.
Changed? What do you mean by changed?
I think she became an earth sorcerer with Avangar's magical frequency. I cannot be certain about the earth sorcerer part, but I can definitely be certain whatever happened made her start crying. She must have felt something.
She kissed my forehead, which made me slowly stop crying.
Did that hurt, sweetheart? Mommy loves you so much. I wish I could take all the hurts away.
I sort of looked in her direction.
That wasn't the sound of pain. That was the sound of crazy. Laria told you the nut wouldn't be falling far from my tree. If she turned into an earth sorcerer, that proves she was right. Nuts love earth.
He laughed a little. Mother just smiled at him.
I am still putting this in the family archives.
What if I mention her saying, "Get all the crazy little bastards into the same prison if you want free psychiatric care"? What about that? Would that keep it out?
Nothing short of you getting naked and doing a little dance will keep it out.
Father began unbuttoning his shirt. Mother smiled and shook her head no. He smiled back as he obediently buttoned it back up.
It might get worse for you. She is the first human born from our two kingdoms. I want to put it in the public archives as well, at least your introduction. They say nothing brings two families together like a baby. Maybe she can help bring our kingdoms back together.
Father smiled at her while shaking his head no.
Will you ever cease to amaze me with your wonder?
He smiled at her some more. Mother sort of rolled her eyes.
You are still that little girl that believes in wishes. I personally wish the Zyamarians were not all betting on how many heads our baby would have. But they were. Laria is damn sure going to lose some credits when they find out she only has one head.
He laughed a little, correctly impressed with that response. Mother is much harder to impress.
Insult her all you want. It is still going in.
That sounds wonderful. I would love to insult her some more, but my list is in the bedroom, and I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
He chuckled and Mother smiled at him.
I must say this though. If you put it in the family archives, one of those sorry little credit-grubbing bastards will sell it. You know they will.
Balanath, sometimes I do not even know why I argue with you. When you are right, you are simply right. I had better put it all in the public archives myself. So those sorry little money-grubbing opportunists will not have a chance to sell it.
Yeah. Don't give those greedy little assholes a chance to make more credits off of us. They already make too many damn credits off of us.
A confused look came over his face.
Wait a minute. Did I just win the argument for you?
I do believe you did.
They smiled at each other, then looked down at me.
This truly is a historical event for our peoples. Sending the introduction to the public archives is the least my vanity will allow. I want everyone on the planet to see our baby girl.
She smiled at me as she touched my cheek.
I am proud of this crazy little bastard we created.
Father chuckled as he kissed the top of her head.
Look at those eyebrows, Balanath. She is going to look just like you. She smiled when I said that. Did you see her smile?
Talk about having your love goggles on. It looked more like the facial expression of someone going to the bathroom for the very first time. I will not reveal whether or not they solved that mystery. My mother's older sister Laria isn't really a bad person, well, not anymore. Back then though, she was, a little stuck up, a little snobby, a little bit of a racist bitch. She thought father wasn't good enough for mother because he's an Avangarian. That is some ignorant, stupid, racist, messed up crap. Father isn't good enough for mother because he's father, it doesn't have anything to do with what planet he comes from. No one is arguing that particular point. My problem is with why she and so many other Zyamarians thought father wasn't good enough for mother. As an Avangarian, I find it very offensive that the snobby sons of bitches think we are lesser evolved humans. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love my Aunt Laria as is required by mother law. I even understand some of her insanity. I have a serious get the hell away from my little sister complex myself. If some guy walks up perving on her, I might just cut his throat. That would make the rest of the ball a little awkward, but I guarantee you he would be the last guy there to ask her to dance. The fact is, as the older sisters we simply know what's best for our little sisters much better than they do. So I don't disagree with Laria trying to break them up. I would have done the exact same thing. However, after certain key events I would have had to admit defeat. She should have given up after mother proposed, or after she received the wedding invitation, or maybe after she found out I existed. She told mother not to marry father on their wedding day. Probably looking straight at my mama's big fat baby belly when she said it. There was no excuse after she found out I was gracing this universe with my magnificent fetal presence. After that, the love for father should have come pouring in. Father asked mother,
"What do you think we should call this beautiful little screamer of ours?"
Well, the reason I think she is an earth sorcerer is because I sense a connection between her and the planet. So with that in mind, what do you think of Torva?
Are you serious? The dragoness from the gentle lady of the wild. The thing I just made a joke about. Have you actually thought about this, or is it just because I mentioned that happening?
I have considered it. You have helped me make up my mind. You reminded me that I was a dreamer back then. Whether she is an earth sorcerer or not, I want her to be a dreamer too.
Well, my love, I would be a real asshole to deny you after such a beautiful thought. The name is a little short, but it does mean the wild one. It's a good warrior name. She needs a good warrior name with terrifying battle cries like that.
Mother looked down at me and touched the thin dark hair on my head.
I would rather think of it as a loving name, like the character. As long as you agree, that is all that matters.
Then it's settled. Torva Lexington it is.
They both looked down at me lovingly. My name is from a children's bedtime story so old they have no idea who even wrote it. It's about a mysterious white dragoness that lives in the western Macedonian jungles. Torva could only be seen by small children and infant dragons because their hearts are pure. In the story she saves the children and younglings' village from an evil dragon. To the adults it seemed like the evil dragon was battling the thin air. Only the little ones saw it when Torva let the dragon bite her throat to get the killing blow with her sword. The adults cheered and the little ones cried. In the end their tears flowed into the valley until one tiny stream touched Torva. This brought her back to life and everyone could see her. She told the little ones if they ever needed her help again to just call her name. It was mother's favorite bedtime story when she was a little girl. When Ryoma took her to the jungles for a field trip when she was 5 years old, mother had to shout her name.
Torva.
Ryoma looked down at her lovingly.
Will you ever cease to amaze me with your wonder? It is a beautiful thought, my love, but Torva is just a fictional character from your book. She does not really exist.
At that age mother was not very happy with that assessment.
Why? You should be ashamed of yourself. What if she is out there right now? What if she heard you say that? You are an adult. Lying is not going to make her think you are a good adult. You might have scared her away.
The vision orb got an amazing close-up shot of mother crossing her arms and sticking out her bottom lip like a little brat. As the family's resident brat, I love that shot so much. Mother was obviously upset that such lies might possibly ruin her chance to meet Torva. Ryoma just smiled at her as she slowly figured out how to twist the truth into the lie Mother wanted to hear.
I am so sorry, my dear. I should not have said such a thing, but it is just that, well, the truth is, you do not really need her help. She cannot come here just to meet you when there are children out there that really need her help.
Mother actually felt bad about calling for Torva.
I didn't even think about that. That is the only reason she wouldn't come. I hope I didn't distract her while she was fighting an evil dragon. I hope Torva isn't mad at me.
Do not worry, sweetheart. I doubt she could ever be mad at you. After all, you are her biggest adorator.
Mother smiled, very pleased with Ryoma's final assessment of the situation.
Why, it's alright that she has to help other children today. Torva said dreams can come true if you wish hard enough. I will meet her someday. I know I will.
She was so adorably crazy back then, now, she's just crazy. Adorator is the proper term for an Addy, which is a Zyamarian that obsesses over famous people. My mother that thinks she is smarter than me was proud to be the biggest obsessor of a famous person that never even existed. At least I can claim to be smarter than she was back then. So I am definitely smarter than a 5-year-old. Take that, Mommy. Mother looked at father with a grin.
All right, my love, it is time for you to address the invaders. Please make the official introduction.
She handed me to father. He gently took me into his arms and looked down at me lovingly. I lovingly got an angry look on my face, then started screaming my head off. As he cradled me in his arms, he looked directly at the vision orb hovering nearby, recording the event.
Do you hear that, people? She thinks this is an invasion of our privacy too. Nevertheless, I present to you Torva Lexington, the first half-breed from our kingdoms. The maybe Earth sorcerer.
He looked down at me screaming, then looked up at the orb again.
And the obviously crazy little bastard child of Balanath and Irena Lexington.
He quickly handed me back to Mother. I shut up almost instantly.
That certainly makes me feel warm and squishy inside. My daughter already hates me.
Do not be ridiculous, Balanath. She doesn't hate you, she just loves me more.
They laughed a little as they kissed. I ended up being a daddy's girl, but I had a serious mama's girl thing happening the first few days of my life. It was 2 days before anyone else could even hold me without me freaking out. I got over being a mama's girl. My little sister, on the other hand, she started out a mama's girl and stayed that way. She actually started her little mama's girl life on my birthday. She was born on the exact day, hour, and minute I was born the previous year. She's all soft and squishy now, but when she was born she was tough as nails. She didn't even cry when the nurse spanked her. She just coughed and opened her eyes with a cute angry look on her face. That became a confused look as she hung upside down looking up at the nurse. She seemed to be thinking, why did you do that? Mother let them do that because it was just the way of things in the less advanced kingdom of Galdea. She saw no harm in it. The healers from her home kingdom of Zyamar know that cleaning the babies will cause them to breathe. I call it the animal licking their baby clean method. It's the exact same thing. Mother likes to say she was confused by the spanking because she knew it was uncalled for. It really does look like that's what she was thinking. I like to tell my little saving the nurse from an ass-kicking joke because it's my tribute to Kai's birth joke. But like most children, I could barely move or see when I was born. I had no idea what was going on. I'm sure it was just blurry images and soothing voices that made me react to anything. My sister, on the other hand, smiled at mother and father within minutes of her birth. Within the first hour of her life she was laughing, grabbing fingers, and smiling at everyone that smiled at her. The 4 nurses assisting during the birth were lined up to take turns making her laugh and smile. It was such a touching scene. The scene at my birth was far from touching. Mother and father were the only ones showing me any love in my birth recording. I started screaming my head off every time they took me away from mother. If you look closely, you can see the nurses in the background fighting over who got to stuff the sock in my mouth. Mother told father as she held her for the first time.
Well, Balanath, our baby girl is still a white sorcerer, but she is definitely her sister's sister. Her magical frequency changed to Avangar's when she began to breathe.
She has her magic now too. What more proof do you need? They obviously want to stay on Avangar with me forever.
Mother touched his cheek with loving, sympathetic eyes.
They must take after their mother. She wants to stay on Avangar with you forever as well.
After that embarrassing little routine, they had to further embarrass me by trying to choke each other to death with their own tongues. It was a disgusting display. Now father was never behind mother's plan to move us to Hollander. He hated the thought of us being on another planet while he worked all day on Avangar. He fought mother tooth and nail, but they had made a pact with Ryoma much older than their marriage. Mother and Laria had agreed to have children when Ryoma did if possible. They wanted to raise us all together. Unfortunately for them, the babies had already started popping and it would be over 16 years before any of us could step foot on Hollander. So the pact was blown completely apart. The whole idea was to raise us together on Hollander during our school years. We would have attended a different elite school every year across 6 different kingdoms. I would have loved that life so very much. I'm absolutely certain I would have been grinning like an idiot when I walked off the cliff. Mother looked down at her.
I have been thinking. Once this traitor foolishness passes, I'll talk Laria into coming here for a few years. At least until Torva starts school. Then we will move to Zyamar.
That sounds like a good plan to me. I don't want them so far away from me. Not yet. Not at all, but definitely not yet.
Balanath, they are not going to shatter into 1,000,000 pieces if you are not on the same planet. You have my word.
You're wrong about that. They will definitely shatter into 1,000,000 pieces if they are too far from me. That is a well-known Lexington trait. Once they can walk, and talk, and get married, then you can take them away from me.
Father smiled at mother as he lovingly gave her another lip smacker. Then they looked down at her, staring up at them.
I have more interesting news about this little one. She takes after Ryoma. She is an Eriana.
Are you saying she can already use her powers?
She cannot concentrate clearly enough to create magic, but her magic is active. She will not have to prove to Avangar that she is worthy to have her powers unlocked. She also has more of the Inara in her than even father. It is unbelievable. I wish he could be here. He would be so amazed.
The amount of Inara she spoke of simply equals magical power. Grandfather Abram was the most powerful white sorcerer in the solar system. He had received greater power because he was the first Hallandorian to complete the sorcerer's quest in over 2,000 years. He chose to be a white sorcerer. Every other sorcerer on Hollander, including Mother and Laria, were all born white sorcerers because one of their parents was a sorcerer. That's what Mother thought I was going to be until my magic changed. Grandfather is a legendary warrior that has led the Legion of White Sorcerers since he was 22 years old. He helped create an era when sorcerer warriors made a conventional military look like a bunch of children with toys. The birth of my little sister was the dawn of a new era. It was a magical time when the most powerful white sorcerer in the solar system spent her days eating and pooping in her pants. Father was a little concerned.
That's a lot of power for an infant to wield. Should we be worried about it?
I don't think so. None of the human Erianas before her could really use their magic until their 2nd year. I cannot imagine she would be any different. Since Ryoma was the 6th Eriana to be born, that makes our baby girl the 7th.
She will always be the first Eriana to me. She is our Eriana. Our beautiful little Eriana.
He gently took her hand between his finger and thumb. She grabbed his thumb then looked at him.
Eriana Lexington. I like the way that sounds. What do you think, little one?
He smiled at her, she smiled back. Mother exclaimed.
Did she actually smile at you? Surely not, that is impossible.
She looked down at her.
Did you just smile at Daddy, sweetie?
She looked at Mother with wide eyes. Mother smiled as she said.
I think she was just making a...
She smiled at her too.
Oh my goodness. Look at her. She is really smiling at me. That is impossible. She shouldn't even be able to see me clearly, or use her muscles so well. This is amazing.
It was a real smile. Then I guess it's settled. Eriana Lexington it is.
Balanath. We cannot name her Eriana. She would be an Eriana named Eriana. Besides that, she is just smiling at anyone that smiles at her. Look.
She smiled at her as she said.
Hello, sweetie. See, she is smiling simply because I am smiling at her.
I'm not giving up. You got to name Torva, it's only fair to let me name her. You also saw her smile, and we know it was definitely a real smile. Not a poop smile like Torva's first smile.
I love my father with all my heart, but when I watch that, I want to choke him to death. Twice.
Must I prove it to you again?
Mother shook her head no at him with a half smile because she knew what was coming. He took her hand with his thumb and pointing finger again, he then said smiling real big.
Do you want your name to be Eriana, sweetie? You better tell mommy you want me to name you. She's the one that named your older sister George.
Mother laughed at that, which caused Eriana to give out a squeaky little laugh too. Mother was shocked again.
Oh my goodness. She laughed, Balanath. She laughed. That is more than impossible. Her throat muscles shouldn't be coordinated enough to laugh. I think this little girl is part dragon.
She was just so happy to be named Eriana she couldn't hold it back. Do you seriously need any more proof than that?
I suppose not. So as to keep with our baby naming traditions, I must say to you, well, my love, I would be a real asshole.
Father burst out laughing as he leaned down and hugged Mother. It interrupted her for a moment, then she continued while trapped in his laughing embrace.
If I denied you after such a beautiful moment with our baby girl.
Father kissed the top of her head as his laughter faded.
It must be the dreamer in me. Even I want to believe that is why she laughed. So, you two win. She will be an Eriana named Eriana.
She gently touched Eriana's thin dark hair, smiling. Then her expression turned a little sad as she sighed.
I guess the Eriana thing will only be strange to me. They are never going to let me go back to Zyamar. Here she is, our beautiful little daughter, and my family cannot even meet her.
Not to mention that other little brat that's been running around all morning screaming present day.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the birthday part, but I knew a present meant I got to rip apart a box and find a toy inside. And I was told I would get a lot of presents that day. Mother sort of huffed out a little laugh.
Yes, not to mention that little brat too. I don't even know if they have seen her. I can only hope the High Council has not outlawed my transmissions.
Surely Abram will be able to put an end to this traitor nonsense soon. How long can this little standoff thing go on? I wish he would come here. Then go back and dare them to try to arrest him. Their military won't stand a chance against the Legion.
That would start a war that would get a lot of innocent people killed. Father will not fire the first shot, they know that. The High Council is going to drag this out until Kagun comes back and kills us all.
Father said with a worried look.
I hope that's not some of your positive thinking.
That's how my little sister became an Eriana named Eriana. All the Erianas throughout history brought about profound changes in their societies. Ryoma's fame as a sculptor and a painter is only dwarfed by her heroism during the Zyamarian-Parthenian War. She and Mother fought alongside the Zyamarians and their allies to save the people on the continent of Macedonia. After risking her life in the war, Ryoma risked her life again while saving people and dragons from radiation sickness. She has a blessing called Breath of Takara. It allows her to heal by using her own life force. There is no advanced technology that can cure radiation poisoning. Only Ryoma could save them, and she was determined to save all she could. She killed herself 3 times, saving the children that were about to die. The Zyamarian healers would bring her back with their technology. She'd kill herself again. She still holds a memorial service every year for those she couldn't get to in time. She also has a yearly festival on the day she healed the last child. She believes it was a beautiful miracle that she was able to save all the children. Ryoma is a wonderful example of someone living up to what is expected from an Eriana. Many people on Hollander consider a child born with active powers to be blessed by fate and Takara, our creator gods. That is why Eriana means divine child. My little sister and I are kindred spirits in our hearts, but not so much in our bodies. If you saw us together, you would never know we are sisters. Our genes tried to make us look as different as possible. Body-wise, I have always had a little meat on my bones, and she has always been skinny as a rail. The most distinguishing features I take from our parents are mother's brown hair, father's dark brown eyes, and his ability to hold a tan because of his southern Macedonian heritage. Eriana has father's dark hair, mother's blue eyes, and I'm pretty sure their light skin starts to burn when they hear the word sunlight. Without protective lotions, they do not fare well in the light of a clear summer day. That's because of mother's cold Northland heritage from Zyamar. Her ancestors lived through 8-month winters. They have an old seasonal saying where she comes from. You just missed summertime, it was yesterday. Father's ancestors evolved with an almost year-round summer. Their seasonal saying could simply be a question. What the hell is snow? For the most part, our young lives were uneventful. Until at 5 years old, Eriana accidentally caused a catastrophe. She was just removing rocks that were in father's way while he tried out a new plow. They came to a rock that was part of the tectonic plate Galdea rests on. The dark sorcerer Kali had set a trap there. When she tried to move what she thought was a small rock, she moved the entire plate. The earthquake caused tidal waves that hit Macedonia and Tiamat. In the end, over 50,000 people died on Galdea and Macedonia combined. Only the dragons on Tiamat fared well after the earthquake. Their geological sensors detected the earthquake. So they immediately evacuated as many animals as they could from the Gilmont jungle north of Caldara Canyon. The over 1 million 8-year-old younglings were the heroes of the day because they can fly. With only a 15-minute window before the tidal wave hit, the rescue bot system was overwhelmed. They deployed 1 million ball-sized hover bots that can retrieve many of any sized animal with their anti-gravity beams. The younglings flew around saving the medium-sized animals to free up the system. They all hovered above the jungle holding the frightened animals as they watched the tidal wave pass underneath them. It flowed into Caldara Canyon for over 20 minutes. Then they lowered the saved animals back down into a much wetter and less populated jungle. There is highly advanced Zyamarian architecture in the canyon's cave-like dwellings and businesses at Caldara City. Even though the city was halfway submerged when the canyon flooded, all they had to do was close their doors and windows to be safe. Father and mother tried to hide what the earthquake had done from Eriana but couldn't. It was less than 2 months after the accident happened. We had lost track of time while we were in our bedroom. Eriana was reading a book and I was trying to sharpen a 2,000-year-old golden assassin's knife. They were made to only be used once to cut the throat of a king. Very few have ever served their purpose, most sit in museums. It is extremely hard to get them sharp because gold is so soft. It was really making me mad.
I've done this a million times and I still can't sharpen this stupid knife.
Eriana looked up from her book.
Why do you need it sharp if it's just going to sit on the rack?
She looked at the clock on the wall.
Oh no! We're late for dinner. 10 minutes. I'm not missing dessert.
She ran out the door. Mother was strict about us getting to dinner on time. Our dinner hour is locked down. If you are not there within the hour, you will not eat that night. I threw the knife on my bed and started slowly walking out the door. I wasn't getting in a hurry. I could port past Eriana and be there before her. I could get there and grab my dessert with plenty of time left. I'd be back for a real meal later. They all have to sleep sometime. The moment I walked out of our bedroom door, Eriana started repeatedly screaming,
No! No!
over and over again. I could see her standing at the corner in the hall where it turns left to the stairs. I looked like a streak of white light as I ported to her. I saw two young maids standing around the corner in tears. Madeline, an older slightly overweight maid, was on her knees in front of Eriana in tears too. Eriana just kept repeatedly screaming no over and over again. Not crying, just total shock and hysteria in her eyes. Madeline was crying as she begged Eriana.
Please, little princess. I am so sorry. Please forgive me.
I got in front of Eriana. I yelled the single word mother with a slight pause afterwards. That will activate my communicator and open a channel to Mother's communicator.
Mother, come to the corner in the hall.
I touched the side of her head lovingly.
It's going to be all right. Mother is coming.
She was staring straight ahead like she didn't even see me. Still screaming the word, no, over and over again. At that moment, the extravagant white oval frame of a white portal appeared. Mother ran through so fast the white plasma looked like it was chasing her even after the portal disappeared. She had desperately worried eyes because she could hear Eriana screaming over her communicator when I called her. I moved and she got down on one knee in front of her. Madeline began crying harder.
It's my fault. She heard me say how many people died from the earthquake. I thought she was in the dining hall. I am so sorry.
Mother didn't say a word. She picked Eriana up and a white portal appeared in front of her. She almost ran through. I ported through before she had a chance to dismiss it. We came out inside Tarmac Castle right in front of Ryoma. Eriana's face was buried in Mother's chest and her body was stiff as a board. Mother said loudly,
She overheard Madeline talking about the accident. Put her to sleep.
Eriana was still screaming the word no over and over as Mother set her down on her feet facing Ryoma. As Mother got down on one knee to hold her, a white misty light came from Ryoma's mouth and quickly entered Eriana's mouth.
Calm yourself, baby girl.
The nose got quieter and slower, then they stopped as Eriana's head sagged down. She looked up at Ryoma with a smile. She sounded like she was drunk out of her mind.
Rai. Where, Velas? I want play. I want go outside play.
I think you need to go to sleep, baby girl. I promise you can play with Velas when you wake up. Do you think you could go to sleep for me, please?
Her brow furrowed and you could tell she did not like that idea at all.
No sleepy time. Go outside, play with Bubby time. That what time?
I am sorry, my love. But you need to get your rest. Can you go sleepy time for me, please?
Eriana looked down frustrated.
Yes, ma'am.
Her voice turned to drunk confused.
Wait. I sleep here tonight. I not sleep here tonight. I not remember sleep here tonight.
She faded to sleep as Mother gently took her in her arms with tears rolling down her cheeks. She stood there cradling her limp body.
I knew she would have to be told before school started. I didn't want her to find out like this.
I think it may be time for you to come home. No one will speak of it here.
I must try to give her a normal life with human children. She deserves that. Surely this will all pass by the time she starts school. If not, I assure you, we will be moving here permanently. We do not have to live at Eden Castle to do our jobs.
After the accident, Ryoma and Mother investigated the area. They told everyone Kali had set the trap and it was his magic that caused the earthquake. Despite that, Eriana was so traumatized she wouldn't use her magic at all. That didn't matter to the people that lost loved ones. They hated Eriana. They started a rumor that she was a Raven Rain. Even a dark sorcerer can be a good guy. Black Tear is my proof of that. He uses normal magic given to him by Avangar, the symbiotic goddess that shares her name with her planet. The Raven Rains are a cult that uses the dark arts. They use the life force of stupid people to create their magic. Most are willing idiots that think they will go to Thanatos and live forever with Kagun if they die. Some are abducted innocent people, which makes them the most hated people on Avangar. Saying Eriana was a Raven Rain pissed everyone off to no end. Then at 6 years old I started my first year of school at the Lower Eden School for the Novice. My personal piss-me-off levels reached epic proportions that day. It was the first and last day I ever attended school with human children. The fun started because I was eavesdropping with the High Chi. Not only does it give me incredible strength, durability, and the ability to port, it also heightens all my senses. I can hear laser burst coming and get out of the way. I heard a lot of those little bastards saying Eriana was a Raven Rain. That was enough to guarantee everyone that said it a schoolyard ass whipping. Then I heard them saying she worked for Kali. I sort of lost my mind after that. I went into full-blown crazy mode. At every play break I was skipping around the playground like a giddy little psychopath. Sometimes, it's good to be the princess. It made the children think I could throw a party anytime I wanted. The invitation process was simple. I'd just walk up to groups of boys or girls and make some happy and some sad.
Hey guys, can you two boys come to a private party I'm throwing after school? I'm only inviting people I really like. Sorry, you girls can't come, I don't like you. But you guys are definitely invited. Meet me at the West Gate after school.
Some made it easier for me because I could invite the whole group, then I didn't have to make anyone sad. I told some I didn't like them, but later came back and told them I did like them because they said it too. After school I was still all smiles as they followed me to their impending mass ass kicking. We were going to a secluded spot outside the walls of Lower Eden. There is a sweet little spot where the guards can't see you with the security cameras. I invited everyone that said it to the party. Everyone from the 6th year students down to the 1st year students like me. I think half the school was there. Unfortunately, the guards got a little suspicious when over 100 students followed me out the gates to a spot out of the camera's view. I turned around and said to them,
Okay people, who wants to get their ass kicked first?
They just looked at me confused. A white portal appeared near us and Mother walked out of it. I pointed out across the plains and said loudly,
Those are the heaven lilies I brought you guys here to see. Oh, Mother, what are you doing here? I was just showing my new friends my favorite spot to see the heaven lilies.
This is one of the reasons me and Mother can have an adversarial relationship at times. For some reason, she doesn't trust me.
Is that right? You brought them here out of the camera's view to show them flowers they could see anywhere around Lower Eden.
She looked at the children.
Is she telling the truth?
One little traitor girl had to say.
We don't know, Miss Queen. All she said before you got here was, who wants to get their ass kicked first?
The little brat pointed at me.
She's the one that said the bad word. I didn't say the bad word.
Then my dear sweet mother looked at me like I was lying to her. With no more questions asked, she believed some total stranger brat over her own sweet innocent daughter. Can you believe that crap? Word of the near mass ass-kicking got out in record time. Father, Sias and Kai laughed their butts off when they heard. Then the moment they saw me, they all busted out laughing again. I couldn't explain to them exactly how I planned to beat up over 100 children, many of whom were little girls. I was just mad. All I could say was I don't think things through in crazy mode. And they thought that was funny too. Mother and the school board, on the other hand, did not share in their amusement. The next day we had to talk to the school board about the incident. I told them the next time I would kick their asses the moment I heard them say it. For reasons that will forever remain a mystery, they banned me from the school. Then I got to go to school with Hyla and all our dragon friends in Caldara City. I loved that part. Unfortunately, the threat of me beating up their kids didn't help. It continued escalating to ridiculous proportions. Then the school board denied Eriana's admittance. The thing about Eriana is, she's not like me. She is what you might call, well, I guess the scientific term is, a normal human being. She was actually looking forward to going to school with human children. We knew it was going to destroy her again when she found out. Which made Mother do something that made her want to destroy the entire school board. She watched the security recordings of the school board meetings she didn't attend. When she found out what they had been telling the parents, she sort of lost her mind. While she was losing her mind, me and Kai joined her at the mind-losing festival. We laughed, we danced, we sang, we joyously lost our minds, and innocent people were seriously injured. In the end, when the smoke cleared, only one body was littering the battlefield, mine. Now some people say Kai is crazy, I say only when they ask for it. She is a beautiful woman with a very unique style. She has dark eyes, dark skin, long dark hair and wears revealing upper garments all the time, even in battle. Her style is actually inspired by our ancestors from southwestern Macedonia, but Kai claims she dresses that way for defensive purposes. She said she would be rich if she had a gold coin for every head that looked at her breasts before rolling across the ground. She likes to say those men and women died happy looking upon the glorious light of her breasts. Kai loves a good joke just like everyone else in my family. But she is the one person in the family you don't want to make angry. The school board denying Eriana's admittance had already made everyone angry. The day it happened, Kai and I were having a little crossbow contest in Amara Garden behind Eden Castle. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the end. Well, not really the end, just the end of part 1 and 43 minutes of your life you will never get back. If you would like to waste more of your life listening to my amazing personal logs, check out part 2 later or hit the link on the screen. See you there.
And don't forget that I really like you. You are definitely invited to the mass astronomically. Yeah, the mass astronomically amazing private party I'm throwing for the people I really like. See you at the West Gate after school.